Beautiful, beautiful, beloved soul family. Geeia Ariati, and I'm here for mission messages. So, 144 mission messages. I am the oracle for the 144. Basically, what I'd like you to start to do is to feel the recognition of how I might represent to you in your own life, why you would listen to these transmissions, what it is that you're hearing, and how I am possibly a guide to you. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more, but I'm going to invite those of our brothers and sisters to come and join this live. I'm going to call in their soul's frequencies. I'm going to call in their light remembrance, their resonance. We are going to bring in through the telepathic pathways, through the different time space continuum connections, a resonance to jump on this call live and to also receive it in the replay. So, when you are receiving, when you are connecting, what I'd like to ask you to do, a little different, is what remembrances have you had with me specifically? What remembrances have you had with me? And drop them into the comments. How have I ever come into your dream space? Have I ever come into your meditation? How do you feel or think you know me? What is it that you know about who I be and who you be in the mirror of what I be? I would love to have a little bit of awareness, and I think it would be really beautiful for our other brothers and sisters that might be new to these transmissions to understand how interconnected we are. It also helps to activate memories, DNA, synapses, pathways, and expand the bandwidth of consciousness. So today we are talking about one of four of the areas of mission messages for the 144. So you might call it a collective energy update or a consciousness interpretation, cognitive understanding to your current initiations and messages. And that is my role. So I am basically a earth angel. So if you could see me as you've got an ethereal support team. You have a team of beings that are not physically incarnated that send messages from God to you as like a connection point until you become connected in communion with God consciousness itself. So it's like you as a human being have these different beings as well as your own selves that are not yet integrated that communicate to you and take you. And they're your guides, they're your archangels, they're your beautiful beings that will help you to come into higher and higher octaves of information until you become connected to God itself and you can receive direct God connection communion. So I came here with a specific mission to be an ethereal angel on in physical incarnation. So that's what the oracle for the 144 is. I'm effectively translating some of those things that you hear from your ethereal guides into human cognition, because throughout our history we have many, 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 many points of time that we have misunderstood the messages. We've had many, many, many times that our angels have spoken to us in the loudest way to get us to listen, and we've still sort of gone off path. So we needed to make some upgrades. We needed to make some changes to the mission directive, to the plan, to the divine unfolding. And that meant that many of us that would normally be working in the ethereal realms came into a physical representation to assist the ground crew. So they play a double role. They play an ethereal role and a physical role. So I know that if you've received me in your meditations, your dream space, it's because I'm still playing an energy support role in the ether as well as the physical representation of being a woman here that can directly communicate God's message for us all to receive and to remember, because it is challenging to be able to have that much clarity. So this message is coming through as that ethereal, angelic energy support team to say, okay, what's happening now? You are in a point of what we might call separation, right? So there is something that's playing out in your reality. It might have been for a while where you are in some kind of physical separation from someone or something that is allowing for a solidification. So solidification, I want to explain what solidification is first. Solidification is when you might have had a lot of activations, you might have had a lot of energy frequency coming in, and this energy starts to come through your body. It changes your DNA, it changes your synapses, you get different gifts and abilities, but solidifying it as a merged, embodied, full state of being takes some very specific processes, some very specific steps. So we can be in connection to God, we can be in connection to our angelics, we can have all of these gifts, but they can be very far from solidified in our physical embodied experience as a waking, day in, day out expression of our reality. And the solidification is things like the second coming of Christ, right? So Christ itself cannot be a form. You cannot be Christ-like until you solidify Christ consciousness into your physical matter, into your human being. You can have Christed moments, you can have Christed healing points of time, you can have all of these different realizations about your connection to Christ, but to become embodied as the physical Christ consciousness, you have to solidify it into your reality. So what's happening at this point in time is that we are actually in a point of separation from the thing that was preventing us our solidification. So as you're receiving this, I'd love you to think about, what is it that you're currently solidifying that maybe you didn't realize you're solidifying? What is it that is there for you that is being the past? So for me, I'm solidifying New Earth. I am embodied in New Earth, different. So you can be landed and embodied without being grounded and anchored. So I know that sounds confusing, but embodied means that the energy is in your body. It can also mean that other things are still in your body, right? Embodied means that the energy is no longer outside or in an ethereal lens. Embodied means that, oh, I've embodied love. Love is here. It doesn't mean I'm always going to act for love, from love, until I've solidified love as the state of what I am and what I be. So embodiment requires, so you can be embodied. Embodiment requires embody with solidification as I am the embodiment of this. There is no space, there's no movement. It doesn't waver. It is consistent. It is strong. It is what I function from as a baseline expression. So we want to look at what you are currently in the state of becoming the embodiment of. So mine is New Earth. So I have had to step away from and have a physical separation from my partner in this period for me, because what was happening for both of us is, whilst our energy being so strong and intense was so connected, the things that needed to come up weren't coming up to be able to become that embodiment, that solidified frequency. So at the moment, although I'm embodied in New Earth, I'm not the embodiment of New Earth, right? Different octaves, different language. Very important for you to understand frequency, vibration, and language so that you know when people are talking to you what they're actually saying. Most of us don't have the awareness of vibrational interpretation of language. We don't have we don't listen to our body when people are talking. We don't listen to that, oh, that feels true, oh, that doesn't, and allowing for our channel to decipher and to reject. And so a lot of us tend to receive content or information that is not always aligned with our being. And that's where we are getting confused and misguided. That's also where we reject information and don't hear properly and distort it. So with your awareness, what is it that you're currently in the process of becoming the embodiment of and solidifying? And where is the separation that's occurred for you? So you might be in separation from family. You might be in separation from a partner. You might be in separation from a specific land. You might be in separation from a community. You might be in separation from an animal. You might be in separation from uh, the elements. So if you're in a specific land location, it may be not the land, but if you were to go to the city and suddenly you're in separation from specific bugs and natural creatures that are your elementals. So I want you to look at where you're in separation and how being in separation from this is forcing you to bring up the areas that are keeping you from the embodiment and the solidification of what you've been cultivating. And it's very necessary and important for this to happen. Now, this is a one of 4 mission messages. So if you don't already follow me, please do click the follow button now. Turn on your notifications so that you hear these messages. There is a lot of followers that are 144, and the engagement here has not been allowing these messages to go through. Like and comment so that the soul can hear, and we can beautifully gift this out to the field. So the other 3 will be coming over the next few days, and these will be a little bit shorter just so that they're nice and potent and short, and you can land them and look at what's here for you. So the message itself came through as it's time to get comfortable. So wherever you are between the October 31st and November 15th is the land that you've sort of been chosen to anchor and solidify this in. So you might be in the separation point at the moment where you're separating so that you can get to the point of solidification, and then you might be moving into a new land location. So wherever you are going to be between the 31st and of October and the 15th of November, get comfortable there. Get comfortable knowing that this is the place that you need to anchor in and land in your chosen location. So this is around arriving in the next phase. This is the place you'll be your first energetic rupture. So what I want to say about that is when you're solidifying. So what you're solidifying, your own energy through this awareness that this is important for my solidification. This is important for my grounding. This is important for a finalization of a specific initiation that you've been going through so that you're stable, so you're in the embodiment for the next phase. So as we for instance, so for example's sake, right now, my current level from 0 to 100 in percentage of embodiment of new earth is sitting at 92%, right? So I have another 8% before it is something that I know, it doesn't move, it doesn't waver. It is just who I will be. Now, that 8% has to move through between and before October 31st being Halloween. Now, some of you, if you've seen the previous messages, there's some things around the eradication of the Antichrist. There's things around divine justice. I have a whole lot of things that have just happened in divine justice where there has been all 50 universal laws being looked at, preached for all different layers, and a complete eradication of this energy from the field of my environment. And so many of you are going through divine justice retributions, which if you're not conscious of what's going on, could be very uncomfortable. Now, this is allowing for the process of what's not allowed in your field, right? So divine justice, if you've got things that people that are breaching divine justice in your inner or outer reality, then that's going to cause destabilization. So we're bringing them to the surface by having a point of separation. So my partner is very strong protector, a very, very powerful protector. He had to step away from being the protector for me to feel and see what was happening and to act in divine justice and to make the choices that I had effectively been too afraid to until that catalyst point. Now, this divine justice completion then allowed for the stabilization and the new earth expression, because there was no longer a fighting, there was no longer a reverberation, or what we might call spiritual warfare. And that is happening for all of us in our own lens, through different dimensional expressions, through different layers of consciousness. And it is important that this separation point that brings up all of the things in the inner and the outer that are affecting your ability. So if we think of breaches of divine of universal law, that's a direct impact to the new earth. You can't have new earth consciousness if divine law is being broken. If you have evil, darkness, and malevolence, and old earth energy and patriarchal control constantly coming at you, how are you going to stabilize new earth? You got to make your inner new earth just as much as your outer new earth. Now, this will be not necessarily everyone's focus, but this is a way I can help you to understand what's taking place. So as we are solidifying, so I've got 8% more to solidify. And if you're doing this and receiving this, I want you to ask 0 to 100 intuitively from your heart center, from God. How solidified are you? From 0 to 100, what percentage do you need to get through before the 31st of October into the next phase of our mission, which is what these 144 mission messages are. We are on specific timelines that have been created by the whole, that we work towards together to create the most success. So this Biriati kiato tukuro kotekeshikata karamatukuriyama ti kiata keshkiata karakatikiarianai buskurshikata kara ete shepatikiate etianai en shepati karapata karamatayanai eshekiata karukutukuriatish kapatakarukutuguriatitakama ma ashikiata ramoto rokutukurukutugurukutuguriatikia Maea, ea, ea, e. Maea, maea, mahaea. O mahae, mae. E tara ta ta tara ta ta tara ta ta tarama. Eshe ikatata rama te kiate. Dushto tokoro kotoko tokoro kotokoro moto te anai e a. Bi setish kapai ata arom ana e a kea. Beautiful. Just taking 3 deep breaths with me so that you can fully receive that, if this is in consent to you, in your sovereign free will and choice, by breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in. And breathing out. Beautiful. Okay. So just recentering, and we're coming back into this mission message. So as we solidify, what happens is a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of consciousness, a whole lot of frequency, a whole lot of light comes into the human collective consciousness, becomes anchored into the earth grids. And so what that does is it's flooding the collective consciousness, and it's going to start the next rupture of the next awakening point, the next beings that are going to activate their crown chakra and start to awaken beyond the illusion of the matrix paradigm. Now, this will directly affect certain people within your energy field. So you are going into a point of stabilization because you're hearing this message now. Those that are going to receive us, when we stabilize, we're going to have a ripple effect, or this rupture that is going to awaken a whole heap of souls, crown chakras. Now, if I get a number, or let me just write it down so I can read it out properly. Okay, so the number that comes up is 724161 are expected to go through a crown chakra activation before the 17th of January 2020. What is it? 2026. So between the 31st of October and January, I've already forgotten the date, 17th, 2026, we're going to have 724,161 beings globally activate their crown chakra at this predicted time, at this predicted moment, through sovereign choosing, through what is present here. Now, that number may shift up or down depending on choice. Very important to understand sovereignty and choice, and I can share the information that is here present. That's my prediction on what is here now. That changes moment to moment. So what is important is that when this rupture happens, that you and me are stable in a land location where we can support that turbulent frequency. Now, that turbulent frequency is going to activate keys of remembering. So wherever you are, there's going to be remembrance keys and information that needs to unlock in the collective consciousness and the beings that are awakening and choosing this. So what keys are there? How many keys are you holding? How many keys do you need to distribute? And how many keys have you lost that you're reclaiming? Okay, so 3 points of focus. You might have to go back to this recording. How many keys are you holding? How many keys do you need to unlock? And how many keys are you returning that you have lost? Good. So this is a part of very prime focus in purpose. So the keys of remembering are unlocking purpose. Purpose is the next phase of specifically the new earth, but also the 144 directive and mission. Now this starts in January. So January, at the moment, what we are looking at is we are really focusing on divine partnership. Now what that means is self, other, God. This is the sacred trinity. This is the holy grail: man, woman, God. This is the foundation of a stable human being. When you understand self as other, other as self, unification between man and woman is no different. You are both just as connected to God. You cannot deny the feminine in your man. You cannot deny the masculine within yourself. You are two unified beings within the name of God, Source, Creator, and you see each message as important, right? So not God first, God, man, woman, equally in reciprocity, in balance, in synergy, and harmony. This is the foundational template to the information of the new earth moving forward. So that's what we're cultivating if you're in new earth consciousness. If you're still in receiving this from like your old earth perspective, but you are here as a 144, whether or not you're moving to the new earth or not, you'll be seeing things as the mirror between man and woman in a polarity like viewpoint. So the polarization will be woman and man, man and God, and there will be dividing points which will be worked through to assist the purification of that consciousness and your own 144 leadership in the reality of Geeia. So purpose, and we're going through your system recoding. So these keys will start to system recode you when you've stabilized. So once you've stabilized, your whole system's going to recode, which for me as an example will be helpful because I'm going to give you a very physical representation of what this recoding is. You might have already started to see it, that my body's starting to change. There is things that are happening based on what has been the initiation and the transformation that you'll see as you receive. So this is a direct physical representation of validation. This is a direct recognition of, oh, she set that thing back 3 months ago and I can see she's actually achieved that right here, right now. So it's like we are the leaders through embodiment. We are the leaders through showing you, this is what I did. Look, you've watched me go from here to here. Now, how do you do the same thing? This is what you can do. This is the pathway. I've helped create it. And many of us are doing that. And there's nothing wrong with being a leader, a, a, I don't like this word, but a follower. I follow people. I follow God. And that of the ones that the different stages, right? They're all important. They all have different processes. The last wave is always the integrator. It's the grounder, the anchorer. So the ones that come last are not they're the ones that know the root. They're the ones that have this stable, full conviction in the solid matter of the experience. So yes, be the example is here for a lot of the New Earth leadership individuals is don't, yes, share the message, but you need to actually show. You need to show if divine wealth is true, how are you going to show that you created divine wealth? By being integral with your heart, with your blueprint, with your soul's purpose, with your own mission. So January, we start with the focus of purpose building. And purpose building will happen in January, but we can't do this until we've stabilized our divine union energies, our unification energies, our Christos, and what that holds for you in relation to man and woman and God. The system recoding, when the system recoding starts between the 31st and November 15, you're going to have a lot of physical transformation. So physical being physical body, physical reality, physical people. So we did have a lot of physical purging that changed about anywhere from 6 weeks back to 2.5 months. So the last 6 weeks to 2.5 months period was a lot of physical transformation through what we would call purging, the ick, the yuck, the dissension aspects. This is different. This is a recalibration, a system upgrade. This is going to give you a physical calling in of those people that are your individuals. So if you've been focusing on divine partnership, it's very, very possible that that divine partner will come in between the 31st of October and the 15th of November. If you've been focusing on finding a new home, if you've been focusing on traveling, that's what will happen in that period and that phase. Okay, so this is the place that will be a part of the awakening of why you came here to embody your origin point. Okay, so this is important. You can't be your fullest purpose until you return your origin point of why you came in this incarnation. Why did you come here? Why did God send you as a messenger? You are God's messenger. You are God's angels. That's what we are. That's what the 144 is. You are an angel of God. You're a messenger of God. You're a warrior of God. You're a speaker of God. You're a code carrier of God. That's what the 144 is. So if God is not resonant to you, then you're probably not a part of the 144, because that's the prime energy, is God consciousness, the heavens to the earth. And this awareness is that you'll be going through an origin point remembrance and anchoring. So you will fully come into the unveilings of what you need to know at your point of your journey as to why you were given this, which means God sent me here because I have this gift and no one else can do this, right? God gave this. God shared this with me. Now, God's messengers don't always come in the form of God. You might have been told by an angel. You might have been told by one of your brothers and sisters. You might have been told by me in this human incarnation, right? That's what can happen. And that's my gift and ability. So if you want to know what's your origin point, why are you here, what's this in your blueprint, book a session with me. I am quite happy to take you to that origin point, share with you exactly why you came here, and help you to align to that timeline to walk it. That's what my greatest gift is. My purpose on this planet is to activate the remembrance of who you truly are so you can live aligned with your soul. Now, you would have heard me say that over and over and over again because that's what I do. the remembrance of who you are. So the origin points. The origin points are coming in relation to what the embodiment is here now. And it's very, very, very important for January. So you are awakening to the remembrance of your origin point, remembering what God asked of you, and choosing from sovereignty to claim it back. Now, not all of you are going to want to claim it because you've either detoured off your path, you've either decided that it's no longer resonance, you've gone on a different journey. That's fine, but the origin point will hold the permission slip for you to choose sovereignly. Yes, I still choose to take God's gift that was given. It's still resonant, and I'm still choosing this role, and I wholeheartedly am going to walk with everything I have to move forward and gift this. Or actually, thank you, I really, really, really am seen, heard, appreciated. It's too much for my human. It's too much for my life. It doesn't actually make my heart happy. And I'm going to hand this back. And what I am going to choose from my sacred heart in connection to God is something different with this awareness. Okay. So super, super, super important for the next phase of our journey as a collective group of beings. So with this, to wrap it up, to finalize it, I'm going to leave you with a couple of reflection questions. Reflection questions being 3, and I'm going to use the 5 W's as a baseline, and I'm going to use the questions that are connected to what, where, and why. So if you have a piece of paper handy or a phone, you might want to write these down so that you can look at them. So we want to ask in relation to everything that has just been spoken to. What is preventing me from remembering the origin of my purpose in this incarnation? What is preventing me from remembering the origin point of my purpose in this incarnation? All right. So looking at that, feeling that, writing it down. Now, I am actually going to, hearing God's message right now, invite anyone who is not on my mailing list, please join my mailing list. I'm going to be sending out a soul's blueprint activation, okay? A very specific soul blueprint activation, cleansing, clearing, creating. So this will help you with the remembrance of your origin point. So if you want to receive that transmission, that activation, join my mailing list. There's lots of yummy goodies, and there's also all the different offerings. So you can't and you won't miss anything if you're there. It is hard to stay up to date on all social medias. I get that. That's why we have the mailing list. Okay. Now, next question being the where question. Where will I remember who I am? So where will I remember who I am? And absolutely, I agree. The sacred door is always unlocked, but it is for you to open the door and to walk through the doorway. As always, the choice will be honored. And that is the truth. Walking through the doorway, yes, the power is in you. Sometimes that power means opening to someone who can guide you. Sometimes that power is opening to God to come into you. Sometimes that power is making a conscious choice. The choice doesn't always look the way that sometimes the mind perceives it to be. All right. And the final question, self-reflection, to help you to integrate and embody all of the information, the codes, the frequencies that are here today is, why would I walk towards my purpose's origin point? So why would I walk towards my purpose's origin point? Meti kita ta karama ta kashita karama eske isa tita ta ta karama ta karama eske isa kita ta karama ta karamana. See, I am a physical embodied earth angel. All right. So Mare kia tō korokotukuri e te kia nai, e te kia na. I also have Yeshua. This one. Yeshua on my arm, not John Lennon, but John Lennon is one of the 144, so it doesn't bother me. So this is a very, very important point of the stage phase. They all are all different things. I hope this helped you to understand what is important for you, to be consciously aware of, to integrate, to understand your angelic representatives' messages, your messages from God Source Creator, and to stabilize what is necessary for you in this point of separation. If you would like to join the New Earth Mystery School, where we are specifically working on divine partnership, self, other, God, and stabilizing that holy grail and that sacred trinity of trust into the experience, please do feel free to come and join our community. We do 3-month initiations, but you can join at any time. There's no, when your soul is calling you there is when you're ready to be back in that space or to receive that space. So every transmission, there's no prerequisites. You've already done them in your life. You are already journeying this. So that is a membership amount of $170 a month. And that is there in the exchange of the frequency. There is a lot of energy that gets pumped into that space and a level of ability to hold it and a level of ability to be committed to New Earth consciousness. If you're not committed to New Earth, it's definitely not the space for you. Today, if you are watching this live, we have Recoding Wealth Creation. We have Yummy Kundalini session at Brisbane Standard Time 1:30. You will find all of the links in my link tree. So go find my link tree and you can connect into our Recoding Wealth Creation at 1:30. That is bringing in the divine partnership codes. If my beautiful partner is able to join live, because he's going through his own emergence process at the moment and has been knocked out. So we'll see if he is able to jump on. And we are looking at developing resources. Resources are very important for your mission and your purpose. They hold your human needs. This house, this beautiful home that I live in, is a resource. It makes sure I am in stability, safety, protection. I have somewhere to put my portals. I have somewhere to come home to that is safe. I have a place that is comfortable for the nourishment of me as a woman, which is very, 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 very important for me because I am a Taurian and I like grounded spaces. I like bases. So traveling was not as fun for me. Although I do enjoy travel, I enjoy it for periods. And with that, if you do want to look into the activation and returning to the 0 point remembrance, the origin, what is it that God provided you? Do you want to continue that? And are you ready to anchor it in your purpose? Please email me, Geeia, Geeia, at GeeiaAriati.com. All right. I love you. Have a beautiful day. And I will see you for our next mission message, which is on remembering the plan. Until next time, Adonai.